Every single year, hunters head off into the woods unprepared for an emergency situation if it were to arise. Today, I'm going to show you guys what I carry inside of my emergency kit that goes inside of my normal day loadout. This pouch just sits into the bottom of my bag and I forget it's even there. But if something happened where I needed this pouch, it's there. So let me move the camera in close and I'll show you guys what I carry with me for an emergency situation while I'm hunting. Okay, so this is the bag. This is just a small USMC Molly pouch that came off of a assault pack. Okay. First off, I always carry a good belt knife. I carry a separate knife specifically for skinning game inside of my bag. Now, this one just happens to be a Moore Garbird. This is just what I prefer. Okay, it could be whatever knife you like. So aside from that, what emergency items can we fit inside of this pouch? So opening it up, it's just a zipper top. Right off the top, we've got some fire starting implements. So I've got a ferrocerium rod that's going to give me a 3,000 to 5,000 degree spark. It does not guarantee you flame. You have to know everything else that you have to put together in order to get flame with one of these. But this gives me a waterproof fire starting option. I also have some mini infernos that can be lit with either the lighter or the ferrocerium rod, and they are waterproof. Okay, this is going to give me a chance to dry out tinder, or to help, give me a little bit of a longer extended flame for a fire, just in case my material is wet. And of course, I've got a good old trusty Bic lighter. I always have one in my pocket, but it's good to keep one in here because they don't weigh anything. It's instant gratification flame. Okay. Next up, headlamp. All right. Most hunters are already going to have a headlamp in their bag. Carry a separate headlamp for this kit, so you'll have two. And then, of course, always have an extra set or two of batteries. This headlamp happens to be the Black Diamond Spot. Okay, this thing is a really, really bright headlamp. It's got the red mode, and then it has flashing on here somewhere. Okay, so a headlamp. This gives me a hands-free option to where, like I said, if I am stuck, or if I have one arm that's injured because I fell out of a tree stand, I don't have to hold the flashlight with the other arm and try to do stuff with it. I could just put this on my head and then leave it. Next up is just a small, really simple repair item. This is an Exotac rip spool. It has duct tape all the way around it, which is really the main reason why I'm carrying it, because it's nice and compact. And then it's got some thread on the outside here that is super strong, so you can use it to sew up stuff. And then it's got a sail needle on the inside of it here. So just a small, real simple repair item. Doesn't weigh anything. Next is a compass. This is something that I see a lot of hunters carrying, but not very many hunters actually know how to use a compass the correct way. This one also has pace beads attached to it to keep track of distance. If you are heading into the backcountry in an unfamiliar area, you need to have a map of the area and also a compass and know how to use both. This one happens to have a signal mirror on it, so I can use it for signaling for rescue. It's got a magnifying glass on it, which gives me another fire starting option. Plus, if I lose glasses or something like that, I can see what's on the map, things like that. And then it has a movable bezel ring. Okay, pretty simple. But know how to use a compass the correct way. Don't just buy one and throw it in your bag and say you've got a compass. Next up, now you don't need to carry this much cordage. I just tossed it in here because it doesn't weigh anything, and it's plenty for if the situation arises where I would need it. I've got it. This is about a half roll of number 36 bank line. You can either carry 100 foot of paracord, 100 foot of bank line, or 50 foot of either one. Doesn't really matter. I prefer bank line because it's a little bit smaller. I've got paracord for my ridge line of my shelter. Then for the shelter item, I think that's all that is in here. For the shelter item, I keep a Bushcraft Outfitters. This is their Mest tarp. I don't remember the exact dimensions. I think it's either a 5x7 or a 6x8. But inside of this small bag, I've got the tarp, I've got the ridge line, I've got 4 guy lines for it, and then I've got 6 aircraft aluminum tent stakes. So this gives me a whole shelter option and setup that I can use if I'm in a situation where I need to set up shelter quick. And all of that fits perfectly fine down in this pouch. I just kind of toss it all in there. Doesn't really have to be super organized or anything like that. Just toss it in there and then zip it up. And then I can either toss the knife on my hip or just toss it in my bag. So that is a small emergency kit that you can put in here. Something else that you can toss inside of this bag is something like a bandana. I typically carry one in my pocket or I have one in my bag. I do not have one inside of this kit, but I do have one in my bag or in my pocket. It gives me some sort of 100% cotton material. This is something else that I don't see enough hunters carrying. Hunters, hikers, whatever, carry an emergency kit, especially if you're hunting, that is specifically meant for controlling heavy bleeding. Carry a tourniquet in a place that you can get to very quickly and easily, like in your pocket or in the top of your pack or on a pouch on the outside of your pack, something like that. That way, just in case a hunting accident does happen, God forbid, you have the equipment in order to keep yourself from bleeding to death. So that's just something real small and lightweight that I always throw in the top of my bag. You see it doesn't really weigh anything at all. This thing probably weighs 6 ounces. The tourniquet doesn't weigh anything, but it's life-saving equipment that, in my opinion, every hunter should have in his bag. Hunting accidents happen way more than people think they do. So always carry some sort of heavy bleeding medical equipment, either that or for breaks and sprains, things like that. Okay, so for my water filter, you guys saw there was no water filter or anything in the kit. I carry a Grail GeoPress for my everyday water bottle. I use this thing every single day, just sip water out of it, okay? So what I do before I head out on a hunt is I'll fill it up with water. I always have my Grail stainless steel cup around it, so I've got a way to boil water and I've got a way to filter water. If I have a bandana or something like that inside of my pocket or inside of my kit, I can pre-filter the water before I put it into the Grail, and then if I'm really worried about it, I can dump it from the Grail and boil it. But typically, I just run it straight through the Grail. I'll carry this filled up with some water, and then, you know, a couple Gatorades, a Mountain Dew or something like that, and I'll be good to go for the day. But this will give me the ability to procure fresh drinking water anywhere in the world. Okay guys, so that is what I carry for my emergency kit whenever I am heading out in the woods to hunt, whether it be for a few days or just a day. That bag stays inside of my hunting pack at the bottom of the pack, and I forget it's even there all season. I just leave it, okay? Anytime you are heading into the backcountry, whether it's a mile in or 10 miles in, you should always have some sort of emergency equipment with you. Leave a good game plan back at home. Tell people where you're going, multiple people, not just one. Tell people where you are going, when you plan to be back, and what you plan on doing. Again, guys, always carry some sort of medical equipment with you whenever you're hunting. There is a book called Blood on the Leaves that is all hunting stories, and they're all true stories that actually happen to people. It talks about hunting accidents, people getting lost while hunting, things like that. And it amazes me how hunters, even though they go through a safety course, how unsafe some hunters actually are. You know, they don't completely identify the target. They don't, you know, look beyond the target to see what's behind it. So just carry some medical equipment, because typically what happens is one hunter gets shot by another hunter or something like that, or you fall out of a tree stand. Those are the two main injuries that happen to people whenever they're hunting. Guys, I appreciate you joining me for this video. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully I gave you guys some ideas for your emergency kit that you should be putting inside of your hunting bag. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram @Buckeye_Bushcraft, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.